Greetings, everybody, and welcome back to Weekly Wildlife Wisdom. So far, I've been your host, Zero Yeti, and happy Aviation Day, which means this week we'll be covering 7 cool critters that can fly or at least glide. Starting with Microraptor, a genus of small four-winged dromaeosaurid dinosaur which lived throughout West-day China during the Aptian stage of the early Cretaceous period, some 125 to 120 million years ago. Because of the unusual circumstances of its discovery, the initial naming of Microraptor was controversial, with the first specimen to be described being part of a chimeric specimen consisting of a patchwork of different feathered dinosaur species, including Microraptor itself, as well as Enornis, and as of yet to be described, third species assembled from multiple specimens in China and then smuggled into the United States for sale. After the forgery was revealed by Zhu Xing at the Beijing Institute of Vertebrate Paleontology and Paleoanthropology, Stores L. Olson, curator of birds at the National Museum of Natural History of the Smithsonian Institution, published a description of Microraptor's tail in an obscure journal, giving it the name Archaeoraptor laoyanggensis, in an attempt to remove the name from the paleoornithological record by assigning it to the part least likely to be a bird. However, Yu had discovered the remains of the specimen from which the tail had been taken and published a description of it later that year, giving it the name Microraptor zhouyanus. Since the two names designate the same individual as the type specimen, Microraptor zhouyanus would have been a junior objective synonym of Archaeoraptor longigenesis. However, there is some doubt as to whether Olson in fact succeeded in meeting all the formal requirements for establishing a new taxon. Namely, Olson designated the specimen as a lectotype before an actual type species was formally erected. As such, Microraptor has become the name that is used. The next specimen, referred to as Microraptor, was collected from the Jufoteng Formation and represented a small individual and included faint feather remnants, but was otherwise not well preserved and lacked a skull. In 2002, Mark Norrell et al. Described another specimen, which they did not name nor refer to an existing species. Later that year, Stefan Serzakis et al. Named the specimen Cryptovolans pauli and referred two additional specimens to this species. Since then, several additional specimens of Microraptor have been recovered, and studies have found that Cryptovolans to likely be Microraptor. Reach around 2.5 to 2.6 feet, or 75 to 80 centimeters in length, and 1.1 to 4.1 pounds, or 0.5 to 1.9 kilograms in weight, with a 2.9 to 3.3 foot, or 88 to 100 centimeter wingspan. Microraptor was among the smallest known non-avian dinosaurs. Were among the first non-avialan dinosaurs discovered, with impressions of feathers and wings. Their bodies had a thick covering of black iridescent feathers, with a diamond-shaped fan at the end of their tail. Microraptor had 4 wings, one on each of its forelimbs and hind limbs. It was originally thought that Microraptor was a glider and probably lived mainly in trees because of the hind wings anchored to the feet of the Microraptor would have hindered their ability to run across the ground. It is now believed that Microraptor probably evolved true powered flight and its associated features independently of birds. In life, Microraptor was amongst the most abundant non-avialan dinosaurs in its ecosystem and would have inhabited forests, swamps, and wetlands, where it fed upon various insects, fish, mammals, lizards, and other dinosaurs. Pantodon buchholzi, better known as the freshwater butterfly fish or African butterfly fish, is a species of osteoglossiform fish native to the freshwater habitats in the Niger and Congo basins of western and central Africa. It is the only extant species in the family Pantodontidae and is the last surviving member of a family that was once incredibly diverse during the Cretaceous period. They tend to inhabit slightly acidic ponds, lakes, slow-moving creeks, and standing bodies of water. They are somewhat social fish, known to travel in small groups called rafts. The freshwater butterfly fish is a specialized hunter, and its eyes are constantly trained upward, and its upturned mouth is specifically adapted to capture prey such as small fish, insects, and aquatic invertebrates along the water's surface. If enough speed is built up in the water, a butterfly fish can jump and glide a small distance through the air to avoid predation, or to traverse into a new body of water. It also wiggles its pectoral fins as it glides, with the help of specialized enlarged pectoral muscles, the ability of which earned the fish its common name. Reach around 2 to 5.9 inches or 5 to 15 centimeters in length, the freshwater butterfly fish is a small fish with large pectoral fins. It has a large and well vascularized swim bladder, enabling it to breathe air at the surface of the water. When freshwater butterfly fish spawn, they produce a mass of over 100 large floating eggs at the surface. The eggs are opaque white and immediately rise to the water's surface. After 24 hours, they turn dark and start to sink, and after about a week, the eggs hatch. Under ideal conditions, an African butterfly fish may live up to 6 years. Next up is Aridotus, or Ardidotus cori, better known as the cori bustard. It is a species of large bird in the bustard family, which all belong to the order Ottadiiformes, and is endemic to southern Africa with an additional isolated population in northeastern Africa. Here they inhabit arid plateaus, savanna scrublands, deserts, and dry open woodland. Whilst known to rest and forage in bushes and trees, the cori bustard spends most of its time on the ground, walking around in search of food such as grasses, seeds, fruit, roots, tubers, flowers, acacia gum, insects, scorpions, mollusks, lizards, small snakes, rodents, and other small mammals, carrion, bird eggs, and nestlings. Cori bustards often follow antelope, rhinoceros, gazelles, and wildebeest herds, and feed upon small mammals and insects that are disturbed by them. Sometimes cori bustards are found with fork-tailed drongos as well as southern and northern carmine bee-eaters riding on their backs as they stride through the grass, utilizing the bird as a walking perch and eating insects from the bustard's back that are disturbed by the bustard's wandering, in a fashion similar to what it does for rhinos and gazelles and antelope. Cori bustards are preyed upon by caracals, African rock pythons, black-backed jackals, warthogs, mongoose, baboons, and birds of prey, such as martial eagles. The cori bustard avoids flying if possible. Thus, when alarmed, it will first run, and if pushed further, will take to the air on the run with much effort, its wings making heavy wing beats. The female cori bustards reach around 2 foot 11 inches to 3 foot 8 inches, or 90 to 110 or 112 centimeters tall. 6.6 to 15.4 pounds, or 3 to 7 kilograms in weight, with a 5 foot 10 inch to 7 foot 3 inch, or 177 to 220 centimeters wingspan. They are significantly smaller than males, which reach around 3.5 to 4.5 feet tall, or 1.07 to 1.37 meters. 15 to 44 pounds, or 7 to 20 kilograms in weight, with a 7.7 to 9 foot, or 230 to 275 centimeter wingspan. The male cori bustard is the third largest bird in Africa, behind the two species of ostrich. Additionally, the male cori bustard is largely considered to be the heaviest flying bird, being only rivaled by mute and trumpeter swans, white pelicans, Andean condors, great bustards, and various species of albatross. However, because of the high sexual dimorphism, the title is usually given to one of these other avians. Cori bustards are polygynous and engage in lek mating, wherein which one male displays to attract several females and mates with all of them. Males display at regularly used sites during mornings and evenings, each male utilizing several dispersed leks or display areas. The courtship displays of the males are impressive and elaborate, during which the males fluff up their feathers, hold back their heads, bulge their cheeks, and inflate their gular pouches, forming a white throat balloon, and then strut around and dance in front of potential partners. If the display is a success, they mate. As with all bustards, the female makes no real nest, and instead lays 1 to 3 eggs in a shallow earth hollow. The mother solely incubates the eggs for 23 to 30 days until hatching. They are precocial and very well camouflage. They fledge around 4 to 5 weeks, but cannot fly well until 3 to 4 months. They stay with their mothers for around 2 years and reach sexual maturity around 3 to 4. Under ideal conditions, they may live upwards of 26 years. Next up is Noctilio leporinus, better known as the greater bulldog bat or fisherman bat. It is a species of fishing bat native to North Central and South America, as well as much of the Caribbean, from southern Mexico to northern Argentina. While vast, this range is also patchy, as the bat is limited to river basins, lakes, wetlands, and coastal areas. Like most bats, bulldog bats are nocturnal and live in colonies of up to several hundred individuals, typically roosting in hollow trees such as silk cotton, mangrove, and balata. The greater bulldog bat is one of the few bat species that is adapted to eating fish. Nevertheless, these bats eat both fish and insects, particularly moths and beetles. They are also known to occasionally catch other invertebrates, such as scorpions, crabs, and shrimp. The bulldog bat mostly forages for fish during high tide and locates them with echolocation. A bulldog bat will fly high in the air and then in a circular direction when searching for prey. It spots a jumping fish. The bat will drop down closer to the water surface, particularly on the spot where the fish made the jump, and decrease its pulse duration at intervals of its echolocation signals. The bulldog bat may also fish by dragging its feet across the water surface, a behavior known as raking. With a head to body length of 4.3 to 5 inches or 10.9 to 12.7 centimeters, a weight of 1.8 to 3.2 ounces or 50 to 90 grams, and a 27.5 inches or 70 centimeter wingspan, with males being slightly larger than females, the greater bulldog bat is a rather large bat. It has elongated, pointed ears with a tragus that gets ridged on the outer edge. The bulldog bat has smooth lips, but its upper lip is divided by a skin fold, while its bottom lip has a wart above the skin folds that extend to the chin. It is these features that give the bulldog bat its name, as it resembles a bulldog. This species is a capable swimmer and will use its wings to paddle. The greater bulldog bat also has prominent cheek pouches, which are useful for holding its food. Its hind legs and feet are particularly large, capable of 180-degree rotation when hunting. There are notably three distinct subspecies. N. L. mastivus can be found in the Caribbean basin and usually have a pale mid-dorsal stripe despite variable pelage. N. L. leporinus is found in the Guianas and the Amazon basin and has much darker coloration whilst lacking said stripe. N. L. rufinscens is found in eastern Bolivia, southern Brazil, and northern Argentina, and tend to be larger and much more pale than others. Breeding occurs in September and from September till January, and after a 2-month pregnancy, a mother greater bulldog bat will give birth to a single offspring. These babies are cared for by the colony, and young bats stay in their roosts for 1 month before embarking on their first flight. Under ideal conditions, a greater bulldog bat may live upwards of 10 years. Agalas urticae, better known as the small tortoiseshell or small tortoiseshell butterfly, is a species of colorful Eurasian butterfly in the family Nymphaalidae. It is found throughout temperate Europe, Asia Minor, Central Asia, Siberia, China, Nepal, India, Mongolia, Korea, and Japan. There are a few records for North America, however, these are believed to be of introduced individuals. Small tortoiseshell butterflies are known to migrate following the rains, and are thus unfortunately very susceptible to widespread droughts. Small tortoiseshells are one of the highest flying insects, with flocks of these butterflies having been documented at 5,791 meters or 19,000 feet, with the adults reaching around 1.77 to 2.44 inches or 4.5 to 6.2 centimeters in wingspan. The small tortoiseshell is a medium-sized butterfly that is mainly reddish-orange, with black and yellow markings on the forewings, as well as a ring of blue spots on the outer edge of the wings. As with several nymphalid butterflies, the caterpillars feed on stinging nettles and small nettles. Additionally, common hops may be used as a host plant. Adults feed on the nectar of a plethora of wild flowers. The species has one of the longest seasons of any Eurasian butterfly, extending from early spring to late autumn. Adults overwinter in hibernation, emerging on the first warm, sunny days of the year to mate and breed. During hibernation, tortoiseshell butterflies are able to supercool in order to keep from freezing. In sheltered areas, these butterflies can stand up to -21 Celsius or -6 Fahrenheit without freezing. Large clusters of several hundred green eggs are laid on the underside of fresh nettle leaves from March through the end of May. The caterpillars are generally black, but show a variation in color as they grow, with some developing pale yellow lines down their sides and dorsal area, while others remain mostly black. After around 4 weeks, the caterpillars spin their cocoon and then emerge as adult butterflies after some 10 to 14 days. Next up is Frigata magnificens, better known as the magnificent frigate bird, the frigate petrel, the Rabbi horicado, or the manivore. It is a seabird of the frigate bird family Frigatidae, which is found over tropical and subtropical waters of the Americas between northern Mexico and Peru on the Pacific coast, and between Florida and southern Brazil on the Atlantic coast. There are also populations in the Galapagos and Cape Verde Islands. It is one of the fastest birds in the world, flying at speeds of up to 95 miles per hour or 153 kilometers per hour. The magnificent frigate bird is known to spend days and nights on the wing, with an average flapping rate of 2.84 beats per second, a ground speed of 10 kilometers an hour or 6.2 miles per hour, covering up to 223 kilometers or 139 miles before landing. They alternatively climb in thermals to altitudes occasionally as high as 2,500 meters or 8,200 feet, and descend to near the sea surface to feed upon fish, squid, jellyfish, and crustaceans. It is a kleptoparasite, pecking at other seabirds to force them to drop or regurgitate their meals. After forcing other seabirds to release its meal, the magnificent frigate bird will dive and catch the prey before it hits the water surface. Reaching 2 foot 11 inches to 3 foot 9 inches, or 89 to 114 centimeters in length, and 2.7 to 3.8 pounds, or 1.1 to 1.6 kilograms in weight, and sporting a 7.1 to 8 foot or 2.17 to 2.44 meter wingspan. The magnificent frigate bird is the largest species of frigate bird. They have long, narrow, angular wings with a large forked tail and long hooked bill. Males are all black with a scarlet throat pouch that is inflated like a balloon in the breeding season. Although the feathers are black, the scapular feathers produce a purple iridescence when they reflect the sunlight. Females are black but have a white breast and lower neck sides, a brown band on the wings, and a blue eye ring that is diagnostic of females of this species. Immature birds will have a white head and underparts. This bird makes shallow platform nests out of branches and twigs on top of both trees and bushes, on islands and caves with mangroves. The magnificent frigate bird lays a clutch of 1 to 2 clear white eggs on average. These eggs are incubated by both sexes for a period of 50 to 60 days. After the egg hatches, the male parent will abandon it, with the female staying to raise the young for almost a year. Under ideal conditions, the magnificent frigate bird may live up to 20 years. And Djark is a genus of large-bodied rhamphorhynchine pterosaurs lived throughout what is now Scotland and the British Isles during the Bathonian stage of the Middle Jurassic period, some 168 to 165 million years ago. The holotype of Diarch is a three-dimensionally preserved articulated skeleton preserved in a slab of limestone, which was discovered in the Lit Shale Formation of Scotland by Amelia Penny in 2017. The specimen preserves most of the body with the exception of the end of the tail, parts of the hind limbs, and the very tip of the beak. The fossil rock slab was moved to the University of Edinburgh. Here it was studied at length by paleontologists Natalia Jagaska, Michael O'Sullivan, Gregory F. Funston, Ian B. Butler, Thomas J. Chaludz, Neil D. L. Clark, Nicholas C. Fraser, Amelia Penny, Dugald A. Ross, Mark Wilkinson, and Stephen Lewis Broussard, who in 2022 named the animal Diarch Signathanac. The name was derived from the Scottish Gaelic language and has a double meaning. It can be simultaneously translated as winged reptile and reptile from sky. The fossil was prepared by Nigel Larkin and later displayed at the National Museum of Scotland. The holotype was a juvenile individual which is still actively growing at the time of its death. As such, the animal's adult size is subject to a fair bit of estimation. Based off of the juvenile specimen and close related pterosaurs such as Dorognathus and Rhamphorhynchus, Diarch is estimated to have reached around 6.23 to 12.47 foot or 1.9 to 3.8 meters in wingspan. This pushes the origin of large pterosaurs back significantly, as it was previously assumed that pterosaurs did not reach greater body sizes until the short-tailed pterodactyloid lineages of the Cretaceous. In terms of the body plan, Diarch sported a long tail, short neck, and large, elongated skull with two distinct types of teeth: elongated fangs close to the tip of the snout, and more conical pig-like teeth further back in the jaws. Diarch possesses large, highly curved manual unguals and well-developed sesamoids and flexor tendons, which show that it had strong, flexible hands and semi-retractable claws. This supports that Diarch would have been able to climb a fair bit and may have had a somewhat arboreal lifestyle. As always, take care to my guys, gals, and non-binary pals.